Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Remarkable Edge Live show. This is the Executive Power Series. I am your host, Dr. Vernita Glenn-White. I go by Dr. V, and I am the Brilliant Solutionist, a strategist, executive advisor, and leadership intelligence architect for high stakes organizations. I don't just coach or consult, I systematize transformation. So, from education systems to enterprise teams, I've spent 20 plus years, yes, I know, helping leaders close the execution gap and build intelligent ecosystems that scale. And we're going to talk more about what that means as we deep dive into this show. Well, this entire series, actually. So this show is where bold execution meets intelligent design, where elite professionals come to rethink leadership, realign performance, and build organizations that actually work. So if you're done playing by outdated rules and ready to architect results that drive revenue, retention, and real influence, let's get to work. So this is season 2. We've wrapped up season 1, so we're going into season 2 with a new focus and a new direction. So let's start here. Now, believe it or not, and you're probably experiencing it, traditional leadership isn't just outdated, it is actually obsolete. The modern CEO that we all hear about, that type of architect that we keep seeing in podcasts and books and on LinkedIn series and all other kind of threads, it doesn't match what's actually required in this economy. And real leadership today isn't about visibility or charisma alone. And actually, you may not actually need as much as you think or that what you've used to have in the past. But now it is all about infrastructure. And you might be saying, like, wasn't it always? Yes, but I don't think a lot of people highlight it. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of people did not highlight infrastructure. It was all about your visibility and your charisma. But this is about systems that drive intelligent execution at scale. So most organizations are relying on personality-driven leadership. And I know personality does matter a little bit. So I don't want to say take it all the way out of the equation, but that shouldn't be the focus and the main focus. And that's not what you should be relying on, because those models tend to fall apart when moments of stress hits the system, because they built just influence and not infrastructure. So here's the uncomfortable truth. If your leadership only works when you're in the room, that's not leadership. That's actually dependency. And dependency at the execution level, well, that's a liability, and that is not a big flex. So let me be clear, leadership isn't about motivation anymore. We don't need someone to come in and just rah-rah, make you feel good for a little bit and then exit, because truthfully, motivation only lasts between 45 to 90 days anyway. You're going to be in this constant cycle. Now, is it great to come in and give a little boost? Absolutely, but it is not sustainable. So this is all about measurable transformation. And if your organization still measures leadership effectiveness by how, quote unquote, inspiring someone is, you are about 10 years behind. And it could be even longer, but we'll just say 10 years. And so the highest performing companies in the world aren't elevating leaders based on just gut instinct. They're doing it with systems of intelligence, performance data, and execution infrastructures that removes the guesswork out of the equation. So what is this shift that needs to take place? Well, the era of the natural born leader, and I know you've heard that so much, that era is actually over. And some people may disagree. And if you do, just comment down below and let me know so we can turn this monologue into a dialogue down in the comments. But now we're in the age of strategic architects. So the question is no longer who leads the best. It is about whose leadership system drives the most impact. So let me say that again. It is not about who leads the best. The question now becomes whose leadership systems drives the most impact. So here's what top performing leaders do differently. They operate from what I call an ecosystem intelligence framework, not just a bunch of scattered tactics. So there's a difference. Tactics are involved, but you have some that you just throw out there and hope it works. And then you have some that you put together to build the ecosystem that all functions together. So no more, let's do something and hope it works. We go in knowing that it works because it all works together. So let me walk you through my 5-part ecosystem intelligence framework that separates reactive teams from resilient ones. So now this is a high level overview. And like I put in the description, you'll be able to take this entry level tool. It's about 5 minutes. That information is down below, and I'll tell you the actual link to go to it. So that assessment or tool, because I don't want to call it a deep dive assessment, but it's just a brief awareness tool to show you these high level areas. So I'm going to tell you about it now, and then I encourage you to go just take a peek at that awareness tool and see where that leads you. So the 5-part ecosystem talks about strategic decision architecture. And what does that mean? It means you build high quality decision frameworks that are repeatable, responsive, and scalable. And then we talk about leadership content knowledge, or LCK. And that means that you can't lead what you don't understand. And it's all about domain fluency, which is now a strategic requirement. And then number 3 is talent optimization system. So retention doesn't come from just culture decks. It comes from aligned development pipelines. And yes, culture is important, but that is not the only thing that's going to keep the talent optimized and coming in and driving up those pipelines. And then number 4 is AI plus innovation readiness. So leaders who ignore AI won't be replaced by it, but they will be replaced by those who know how to leverage it. Now, I'm saying AI because that is what captures people's attention, but just understand that it's all about anything that's new technology related. So, or any new thing that's coming into the industry that is a focal point, you need to understand that. And right now it is AI, but it's really insert the newest thing plus the innovation readiness. So I don't want you to just get hung up on AI. And then number 5 is about execution without ego. And I know you're saying like I don't lead with an ego. You probably do, but we're going to talk about how to execute without an ego, meaning that you build systems that allow your organization to win. Here's the key: without you in the room. So this framework isn't theoretical. I didn't just sit here and say, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." I've used this across when I was in the education space, because believe it or not, education systems, whether it's K-12 or higher ed, they do run like Fortune 500 companies on the larger scale. So I've taken these things that I've done, like I said, 20 plus years all together, and then now shifting them into the corporate enterprise type of space, because leadership technically is leadership. So I've seen this across those education systems and enterprises, and that's helped move teams from being a plateau to actual performance and not just on paper. And so here's the edge: execution gaps. Execution gaps are the number one threat to leadership success, not strategy. And I know you're like, what? We just need more strategy. You have more strategy than you realize, but it's not the strategy in most cases. It is the execution. Because if you have strategy without execution, that's just an expensive wish list. And a lot of you are paying a lot of money just for execution, and you're wondering why you're not, I mean, just for strategy, and you're wondering why you're not getting those results. So the key is you don't need more inspiration or motivation. You need systems, you need alignment, you need a leadership model that scales. So all of that goes together. So you probably have systems, but are you all aligned with your systems? You probably have systems, but do you have a model that allows your systems to scale and work like without you, so everything is not dependent upon you as the leader or your core team of leaders? So here's your executive truth, and let's not get hung up on titles. If you're the one that's leading the charge, you are the leader. So if you don't have executive in your name, but you know that you're doing this work, then I'm talking to you too. So if your business success is overly dependent on your presence, whether that's the major company or whether that's your segment of the company, I'm still talking to you. So if it depends on your presence, your decisions, or your hustle, let me get in and do the dirty work, then you're not building a company, you're not building a team, you're not building, your department or your little segment of the company, or if it's you, your business, you're babysitting. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, that's like a little gut punch. You are babysitting, and we do not want that, because that doesn't help anyone. So what I want you to do is if that stung a little bit, and I hope it did, because this is all about having the most impact, income, and influence. I know it's like cliche, but seriously, outside of you. And then I want you to do something about it, because I want you to know that you can. I don't want you to sit here and say, oh my gosh, I suck. This isn't going anywhere. Or what do I do? Hold on. I got something for you. It is called the Leadership Intelligence and Resilience Index. Moving forward in the series, you'll hear me refer to it as the LII, which is the shorter version for Leadership Intelligence Index. But it's a 5 minute awareness tool that reveals where your leadership systems are leaking, breaking down, where about your performance, your profit, all of those things. Is 10 questions. It goes through those five high level, the framework at a higher level, 10 questions, and then you'll be able to answer them with some choices, and then see where you get a score, so you can see where you need to focus on, or where you're doing great at, or things like that. So you get a custom leadership profile. Very simple. As soon as you take it, you answer the questions, you'll see your score, and you'll get a profile after that. And then you'll get immediate strategic insights. So not only do you see your score, you see what category you're in, and then it'll follow up and let you know, hey, these are some of the next steps that you can take. And then it'll let you know, if you don't take these next steps, this is what will most likely happen. And then you'll get some more information with me. And then if you decide to go to the next step and book a call, we'll actually have something to talk about. I don't know about you, but I don't like when people say, hey, come book a call or let's talk. And then there's no agenda. We don't know what we're talking about. It starts with, well, what's up with you today? Or what's up for you today? And we're not doing that here. I want you to have a starting point in the conversation. Then that way we can branch out into pinpointing, where you want to see things to improve or enhance in your company. So taking the LII, the Leadership Index, the Leadership Intelligence Index, will give both of us a starting point. And even if you don't book a call, which I hope you do, at least you will have some kind of insight and awareness and say, oh my gosh, and then take this back and have a deeper conversation with your team. So if you want to go further, for all of you decision makers, whether that's for the entire company, a team, or a department, wherever you are the main leader and you are the decision maker, I want you to visit drvernitaglenn-white.com/leader index. That information will also be in the description. And that way you can explore customized consulting and implementation strategies. So if you're interested in internal leadership development systems for your team, let's have a chat. So this isn't just about anymore, training or strategies. This is about creating an ecosystem for your leadership so that it can scale beyond you, no matter what level that you're in. All right. So that was a brief introduction for season 2, and a little sneak peek of what you're going to get over this season for the Executive Power Series, because I created this tool, taking all of those years of research and experiences that I've had in the education space, working in higher education as well, and working and all the things I'm learning about corporate and being in business for myself, putting all those things together, because I am so over people just talking about generic leadership. And if you don't know, I do have a few degrees in leadership, and so I do understand both sides, like how things can be just theoretical, how things can be just like, abstract, but I'm all about making things practical so that you can get actual results. I've done that in one space, and I'm just transferring those skills into another space, because when you get those results, then your clients and your customers do much better. And then that's the true impact that you want to have in the world. And so I thank you so much for listening and learning with me. You have been listening to the Remarkable Edge Executive Power Series. We don't just chase trends, we engineer results. So if today's episode challenged your leadership thinking, well, that was the point. So I'm not here to motivate. I am here to partner with decision makers who are ready to scale, systemize, and succeed without the execution gap. Those are not just buzzwords for me. Those are the things that I actually want to see you do and partner with you in your company. So take the Leadership Intelligence Resilience Index, or the LII, to uncover where your leadership systems are leaking performance and profits. Because if you're lacking those things or leaking those things, you're not you're not going in the direction of why you started your business or why you're working at a company. You're not having that impact that you want if you're leaking out performance and profits. So if your organization is ready for real transformation, not just surface level stuff, not just surface level training, then you need to visit drvernitaglenn-white.com/leader index. The information is also down below. So again, I am Dr. V, the Brilliant Solutionist, and remember to stay bold and strategic and never settle for leadership that doesn't scale. So until next time, bye.